I'm so stoked that for the last, I'm not sure how long it's been, 6 months or so, you have been part of our reflections team and travelling around the country capturing the stories of legends all over New Zealand. And I was hoping to just have a bit of a chat about what that has been like for you and how you've found the process and what you're getting from it.
Just when you talk about it, I get so warm. Like, I love stories, okay, and I love hearing people's stories. In a conversation, I want to be the 10%, and I want the 90% of the other person. And reflections, I have met some dead set, unknown, unfamous Kiwi legends with incredible stories. There's joy, there's sadness. You know, one of the ones I've done recently was with a terminally ill man, and I was just sitting there and going, you have been such a wonderful dad, a wonderful husband. Your grandkids think you're an absolute champion. And all the examples of the things he'd done through his life unknowingly that filled the next generations with joy. And I'm sitting there just taking it all in. And I remember we left that place and with Abby, our videographer, and I'm sitting in the plane and I said, you know what? This country is so full of these family champions, and I would never have heard these stories, and I just feel so lucky, so honoured, so privileged, all of that, to be able to go and get those stories and know they're going to sit in the cradle of those families' hands forever. Forever. There's unborn children in that family lineage who will never get to meet granddad, pop, and all that sort of stuff. And when they become of age, their father, their auntie, hey, sit down, have a look at Pop, look what he did. And it's just 2 hours in their words, with their feelings, their emotions. It's honestly the soul payments I get from conducting these. And I would say most of the subjects, so most of the people I've interviewed have been not reluctant, not that strong, but just a little bit unsure how it is. Every single one of them at the end have absolutely loved it. They get to sit down, tell their story in their words, and they really warm into it. That's what they really warm into it and own all of these things. And so much so, one of the people who stage 4 cancer, so terminal, had an appointment with the oncologist straight after we left. So we left, and our lady had an appointment with the oncologist, and his daughter went with him. And he walked into the oncologist, and he said, "Oh, how are you feeling today?" And he goes, "I feel amazing." And the oncologist was like, remission? And he's like, "I've just had this guy come around and I told my whole story, and I loved recapping my life, and that all of the generations after me are going to learn about how we became who we are as a family." And the daughter said to me, the joy on his face from that 2 or 3 hours we were at their house, I was just like, it's the greatest thing.
One of the things I've found is that everyone, and same thing, same experience. There are some that are reluctant. There are some that are doing it as a favour to their kids. And once you get them talking, people love telling their story if there's someone who's genuinely listening, who is there for them to hear it. And it's such an unusual space, 2 hours of telling your story to someone who's genuinely there for it, which is such a beautiful thing. Because a lot of these sort of elder men and women, you're talking about their parents, their mum and dad, their childhood, which they probably haven't spoken about out loud for decades, 10, 20, 30 years.
Oh, and that's right, we did.
Yeah, and they love bringing those stories to life. And the sort of the intimate side of it too is that we are in there with their family researching their lives. So we do this screening call where we ask for 10 focus areas of their life, and that call on itself produces so much gold, because you've often got siblings or family members coming together thinking, oh yeah, that'd be cool to hear about that. You know, there's so much magic in it, right?
Yeah, I did one last night, and I had a niece and a nephew, and after all of these pre-prep calls, so there's forms to fill in, and I gather all those, then I have the pre-prep call with usually the younger generation, And from when I hang up, I'm like, man, I can't wait to go and meet this guy. Like, some people wouldn't like to do it. I absolutely love it because it's a responsibility to get it out. The other thing I found, Steve, is sometimes the family will say, we really want to know about this, but they won't talk about it with us.
Yeah.
They'll talk to it, they see how you get on. I've got it every time, and it's like remarkable stories, and it's like they might have cocked up something or they're embarrassed that they did something, but then it's their story. It's completely their story, and it's so liberating. And I just know there's so many Kiwis out there with incredible family stories, business stories, travel stories, and they just scratch the surface because they're never fully asked.
Yeah, so I've had a few friends that say, I love the idea, we're going to do it ourselves. Yeah. And I'm like, good. Go for it. Just know it's quite tricky. Because the hardest part of it, and this is the art, and this is where you bring in the expert interviewers, is navigating them through the chapters. Because you get someone who's lived 90 years of an epic life. What do you focus on? How do you stop them talking for 40 minutes about one incident from school? So moving them through the chapters so you get everything, and massaging it and knowing when to pause and when to let them speak and when to carry things on is the skill. That is the art, and it's tricky.
And sometimes there's been more than one marriage, and we don't want to hear about that wife, or we don't want to hear, and it's just like, so there's no threat to the person we're chatting to because I'm not a family member, I don't know them, and the gate's open. The gates, they gallop in. And interestingly, I talked about they warm up to it. The guy I was talking about who was terminal, we'd planned that we'd do half an hour with him, he can go and have a rest, half an hour with his wife, then they can come back and we do an hour together. The first half hour he was a bit hesitant, didn't quite understand why on earth am I doing this sort of thing. And then I spoke to the wife, and he was in the bedroom next to the lounge, and he could clearly hear. He came in absolutely fizzing, had yarns for Africa. His last story took 20 minutes, and I'm like, our flight's leaving soon. But I just love watching these great generations of New Zealanders telling their story and knowing it's landing on the generations under them. It's just such a valuable tool.